These will be nice for my pen pals. Gorgeous. Hello viewer, I thought I'd pop on and update you on a few things for my 2024 system. Still planning on using the Hobonichi Weeks and nothing's changed there. I have bulked it up a little bit already, just inserting some homemade planner pages in the back. But this is going to be very beneficial for me. Got some project planning pages like I showed you last time. And I may upload some of these in my shop for free if people are interested. I just kind of taped the top here so you can just flip it up and use the page under it for notes if needed, because I feel like I don't like wasting the wonderful Tomoe river paper that is included in these planners. So I didn't want to cover it completely. So I just taped it up here with double-sided tape, or you could glue it, and just made a little flap so that way I can write down notes or whatever underneath. So that's sort of my overview of how I'm using the back pages. I can actually kind of explain it a little bit if you'd like, and you can tell me which pages you'd like to see in my shop. I made an index page because the other index page that comes with it is just too small for me. I wanted more room. I have a master to-do list divided up into important and urgent, important not urgent, everything else, and brainstorming. So sometimes things just aren't that important, but I think I should do it or I want to do it. So I have like this everything else thing, and then I can see how urgent stuff is, because like I explained last time, it's better for my brain if I prioritize down on paper as opposed to trying to do it in my head. I have a future log, and it's divided up into quarters. So I have quarter 1, quarter 2 with the priorities, and then each month that I can use for planning out the things that I want to get done on my master list. And then I have some chore lists divided up by seasons. I have a winter chore list, a spring, summer, and autumn, obviously, and a monthly chore list. I have this in my, what's it called, Agendio, but I thought it would be handy to have it in my weeks as well, because the weeks is what I have out daily as opposed to the Agendio. I only get out like once a month. So I can see what I need done over the month. Nice monthly overview. I also have some weekly chore list, but I'm just going to attach that to the pencil board I'm using, so that way it's there and handy each week instead of using up more space in the back to tape it in. I have some project planning pages, these are already in my shop. So if you're interested in the project planning pages, go ahead and take a look at my shop. They're free. And then I did this quarterly breakup of projects. So what I did is I included 2 project sheets, and because I'm going to try to work on 2 major projects at a time, and then I can look from quarter to quarter with a half-year check-in for each project. So I have project 1 and project 2. If I finish one of the projects, I can always add another project page. And then for my monthly overviews, I have a place for brainstorming what I'm going to work on for project 1 and project 2. And then I have a place for birthdays and events, a place for errands that I'll run that month, and chores that I want to get done. So not necessarily the weekly chores, but for example, the quarterly chores that I want to divide up month by month, I can put in here. And tasks, so just tasks that are particular to that month. And so I have these monthly overviews for each month. And I didn't put those up in my shop because I didn't know if it was something people would be interested in, but if you are, just let me know. This is very particular to me too. So these are my reflection summary pages. Each day I write a little bit about what I did, how I felt, what my energy levels were, to keep track of that for my narcolepsy appointments and such. And also just how I'm doing mentally. And at the end of the week, I review those little daily entries, which the daily entries I put in here. And at the end of each week, I do a whole weekly overview, a weekly reflection, which sometimes is based off of this, and sometimes my mind just goes off into other places, whatever. I just allow it to kind of flow and try to get a grip on what happened over the week and try to see where I'm going the next week, because I have a really foggy brain, and as a result, my memory is just terrible. It's crap. So I like to do these regular reflections in order to try to help my memory a little bit. And then when I'm done with my weekly summary, or my weekly entry, my weekly reflection, I do a short little summary of what I wrote and just kind of summarize what I was talking about in that reflection. And so what I did here is I made a place to put those reflection summaries. So that way at the end of the month, I can read about each week before I do my monthly reflection, because I like to do one each month too. And then I can write a little summary of my monthly reflection. And then at the end of a quarter, I can read my monthly reflections and do a quarterly reflection. And so I have a big place there to summarize. I may even just write the quarterly reflection here, I don't know. And that way, at the end of the year, instead of reading each little individual entry that I made each day or even week, I can just check out my quarterly reflection summaries, and then I can remember, oh, this is where I was during that time of the year. And then I can do my yearly summary. So at the end of the year, I have, or my yearly reflection, that is. And then I have a place to do either my yearly reflection, I might need more space than that, or just a summary of what I wrote in my reflection. So if I write my reflection in my notebook, commonplace book, then I have a place to summarize it. And then I have a place for notes for 2025, so I know sort of where I want to go in the next year. And then I have some of these pages left over. In the back pages where they have all the information and such, I just taped it over with these favorites pages. In general, I like to read a lot. I've been in a reading slump lately, but I usually like to read a lot, so I wanted a place to put all the books I read, and that's why I put that there. But that is my setup so far in at least the back part of the Hobonichi Weeks. So last time I showed you this notebook that I had designed and had printed by a professional printer, and I like them a lot, and I think they'll be really useful if I ever decide to go the traveler's notebook route, which I may do in 2025. I'm not sure. I may design my own planner and traveler's notebook planner and go that route for 2025. I'm not sure. It's in the works. It's percolating in my brain. Already thinking of 2025. Can you tell I'm a planner? But I just thought this was quite big for my needs for this year, or this coming year in 2024. I thought I could band these together because I have like a this sort of band. I want to get it in a different color, but I thought I could just band it together like that and carry it around like that if I want to bring both notebooks with me, which could work, but I just kept thinking I would like a notebook that is Hobonichi Weeks size. And I know I could use the Hobonichi Weeks notebooks. They don't have page numbers though, and I have to write them in, which is less work than making a notebook by myself. But I do get a strange satisfaction out of using a notebook that I made myself. So I made a notebook myself, and it's slightly smaller than the Hobonichi Weeks, which is what I wanted. And you saw me making it earlier in the earlier footage. And it has this page from the library of date started, date ended. It has a place to put my key for my commonplace key and an index. And then these grid pages that have page numbers and margins, which if you remember from my last video, that is what I want. Those are the three things that I want in a notebook, are the margins, the grid, and page numbers. And a good size, because there's something, I don't know, about the Hobonichi Weeks that I just love holding it in my hands. I just think it's such a wonderful size to work with. And it's a nice size inside, in that I have room to put the paintings that I like to tape in here and the poetry I like to add to my commonplace book. It has enough space for those type of things without it being too big. When I made some little pocket-sized notebooks and I thought about using those, they were a lot smaller than this, and I just thought it would be really cute and easy to carry around. But after I got to thinking about it, I was like, you know, I like to put paintings in my commonplace book, pictures or printouts of old paintings that I like, and there just wouldn't be so much room to do that in a small pocket size. So I thought a Hobonichi Weeks size would be nice. And so I made this by hand because the printer I go through doesn't print off notebooks this small, unfortunately. I could do it this size, but I can't do it this size. So I'd have to make these by hand. Is it worth making them by hand to get exactly what I want? I'm not sure yet. It's a lot of work, but it's work that I enjoy. And like I said, I get a lot of satisfaction out of using something that I made. And it has everything I want. For it to last me the whole year, I would probably need about 4 of these. So my plan is over Thanksgiving break, because I teach through a community college, I get a Thanksgiving break. I'm thinking I will try to make 3 more of these, and then I'll have them to go for next year. So that way I'm not in the middle of the year and all of a sudden need a notebook and have to all of a sudden make a notebook by hand, because that would be a lot of work and a lot of stress to do all of a sudden. But if I had them just sort of ready to go and made them at my own pace, I think that could work out. So that is the plan for 2024. This will be my planner, and this will be my commonplace book / journal. So I'll be doing my big reflections in here, but in the back pages in here, what you saw would be my reflection summaries. And the little pocket notebooks I've made in the past, those I keep in my bag to jot down random notes as I'm out and about. So those aren't going to waste. These, I gave one of them away, so I have 9 of them lying around. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet. I may try to sell them if anybody is interested in buying something like this that is almost traveler's notebook size, but not quite. It's a little bit taller. But it does have a nice grid and margin and page numbers. So if that's something you're interested in, maybe I'll sell them. I'm not sure. In the future, I could use them possibly if I decide to go the traveler's notebook route. I just haven't decided yet. So we'll see what happens in the future. I already know this isn't a sustainable system unless I get really into making notebooks by hand. But I'm thinking I'm going to try it for 2024. So that is what I wanted to update you on. And if you celebrate, I hope you have a good holiday. If you don't, I hope you just have some good times and some resting times. And I hope you have the sweetest dreams. Who's a good girl? Kelly. What do you got? Come here. Come here. What you eating? Are you eating an acorn again? Come on. Come on, pup. Kelly. Let's go. Let's walk. Good girl. Good walk. Hey, pup. What's he doing, Kelly? Who's a good girl? Who's that little girl? It's Kelly.